Howdy tribe! Welcome back to another exciting installment of Minimalist Monday. As you can see here, I have an impressive display of minimalist looking hunting tools here. And this week we're going to do something a little bit different than what we usually do for Minimalist Monday. I have a lot of content to go over here, a lot I want to discuss with you. And so this time what we're going to do is I'm going to introduce you to these various tools, explain the pros and cons of each, and then in the next installment of Minimalist Monday, we're going to go back and actually do some testing with these to see which is more effective. So starting off today, we have the Spectre Nomad Takedown Bow. Now, I know obviously what you guys are thinking here. If you were going to be going backpacking or minimalist backpacking, the likelihood that you're going to be taking a tool with you to hunt, just right off the bat here, probably wouldn't be all that likely. Now, I wanted to create a scenario and prepare for a scenario, however, so that if I happen to lose my food or lose my pack, something happens, if I still had one of these, could I actually take care of myself? Or, for instance, if you're a backpacker or a thru hiker and you get off trail, something happens to you, and you don't necessarily have as much food as you were hoping to, or thinking that you were going to need to get you through your trip, what do you do? And so it may be a bit of an outlier kind of scenario, but still I like redundancies in my survival. And so even though I do always carry just traditional pack food, I like to have something smaller with me just in case the worst case scenario happens. So getting back to it here, like I said, I have the Spectre Nomad over here. And this guy weighs in at 2 pounds, 2 ounces roughly. That includes the pack that it comes in, the bow itself, and then these 3 arrows. Now, of course, it could be a little bit more if you wanted to carry more arrows. Right off the bat, I love the idea of carrying a bow, but the idea of a minimalist tool that's already, you know, coming up on, well, 2¼ pounds, it's a pretty heavy tool. Furthermore, what doesn't work for me about this specific item is that I don't like the idea that I can't really carry that much ammunition with it. You know, so it's already a lot of weight, and even though it does pack down fairly small and can fit in a fairly compact space, you know, you lose an arrow, you lose a second arrow, you know, you can be into a pretty dicey situation with this one pretty quick, especially if you're not equipped to make your own arrows, which I myself have no background in making arrows. So that one does worry me a little bit because of its weight and just the lack of easy to carry ammunition there. But that being said, for big game hunting, it unquestionably would probably be better than most of these other guys on here. Even this little 22, unless you're really close and get a shot with it, I'm not sure I would actually take that over the bow here. Moving down the line though, next up on the list we have the Dan Kung slingshot with a pack of ammunition here. It's probably about I don't know, 100 ball bearing shot in there. And of course its carrying pouch. This one comes in at 1 pound 8 ounces. Now I know Dan Kung does offer this same model in titanium, which would undoubtedly reduce the weight here, but this one happens to be the steel model. Again, like the bow, this is a fairly heavy setup. Now, you don't necessarily need to carry all the ammunition, which is probably where, I don't know, 90% of the weight is right there in that little pack. You don't necessarily need to carry that, but the problem with not carrying dedicated slingshot ammunition is, even though you can just randomly pick up a rock off the ground and fire with this, the aerodynamics would be really adversely affected, and the likelihood that you're going to be able to really accurately hit your target each time is slim, just because each rock is going to be different and it's going to affect the way that it travels through the air. So carrying some ammunition for this guy I think is a necessity, especially if you're really planning on using it seriously. Like I said, you don't need to carry this much, but already it's a pretty heavy little setup. That being said, it is more compact than the bow. So moving down the line here, we have the North American Arms mini revolver here. And this is a really cool little tool. I got this with the intent of thinking, you know, if I really wanted like a small pack gun that I could carry, just like a snake shoot or something like that, or maybe even some small hunting, I was thinking that this would be a good setup because it is a surprisingly light little gun, and you can carry, you see I got a little pack here, you probably can't see that too well, but got about 50 rounds of 22 ammunition right there. So this one weighs in at 1 pound 1 ounce for everything you see here. That includes the sheath, the gun, and the bullets here. So lighter than either of these two. The problem with this one is I'm not the best shot in the world. There's probably guys that are a lot more effective with this than me, but for me to be accurate with this and regularly accurate with this, I would need a lot more practice with it, and right now I just know I am not that confident with it. It's, you know, it's a fairly small light gun and it's effective at fairly close ranges, but once you start getting a little bit further out, keeping a tight pattern with this gun is it's no small feat, at least in my experience. Like I said, there may be better shooters out there than I, but for me, that one doesn't necessarily work all that well. Lots of fun to shoot, but not as accurate as I would like. The other problem with, I think, carrying a gun is the idea that you're going to fire one round, make this huge amount of noise, and scare everything off. What happens if you happen to miss your target with that one round? You know, then at that point, you may be dead in the water. You may not get an opportunity to hunt something else. So that's a problem with guns. I don't like the fact that they make so much noise, and they, you know, once you are out of ammunition, there is no backup. You fire your bullets, you're done with your bullets. So those are kind of the drawbacks of one of these, although I do like the simplicity of a basic revolver like this. From the standpoint of minimalist survival, I don't know, I probably wouldn't rely on that one as soon as I would probably the slingshot, just for no other reason that the slingshot doesn't really make any noise. And even though rocks are not aerodynamically, you know, sound, I still can shoot a rock with this if I run out of my ball bearings and maybe get lucky. Whereas this one, once it's done, it's done. Finally, working our way down to this last one here, of course, a standard 4-foot blow dart gun. This one, along with these 2 packs of blow darts that I have here, I think there's 26 darts in the packs here, and then I have, I don't know, I guess like another 10 here. So roughly 36 to 40 different pieces of ammunition for this one tool, and it all weighs in at 7 ounces right here. Of course, you could carry a lot more darts and that would up the weight, but already I've got nearly 40 darts here, and you know, not even a half pound. So right off the bat, I like this one immensely, just for the fact that it's really, really light. From a minimalist standpoint, that is ideal. However, from a size standpoint, it doesn't pack away, and that's this one's primary drawback. I have used this one to great effect in the past. I actually, up at our barn, we had a real bad mouse infestation, and they were kind of eating out the ground from like beneath the asphalt and caving it in. I mean, they were doing a huge amount of damage, eating out the walls, just destroying our barn. So one summer I took it upon myself to try to hunt these mice. Now, of course, there were way more mice than I could ever possibly hunt, but I was able to effectively use this to actually hunt mice at, you know, 20-25 feet. So in terms of accuracy, by far and away, this is the one I am the most confident with from all these different tools. I also like that you can carry more ammunition with a lower weight than any of these other tools. And I also like that it makes no sound when you fire it. So if you happen to miss, it doesn't mean you don't necessarily get another shot. A lot of the times when I was using this for hunting mice, I would miss, and the mice just weren't even aware that something had shot and or hit and or missed behind them. This is a really great tool. They offer a lot of different types of darts that you can get for it. Right now, I have it set up with some hunting tip darts. They're kind of a little bit broader and flatter. I don't know if you can see that, but do a little bit more damage and more likely to take a small target down. Again, you're not going to be hunting deer or anything big with this, and the idea with minimalist survival is, you know, I'm not going to be trying to capture big game. If I can shoot some squirrels, some birds, small reptiles, things like that, that ideally is basically what I would need for just minimal survival. So with that in mind, I really, really like the idea of a blow dart gun. I do know that a lot of other people, you know, on YouTube that I've seen will also talk about the blow dart guns and its effectiveness. Now, what I wish this one did, and what I might try to do here in the break between this post and then the next Minimalist Monday, is I might actually try to break this one down myself, chop it into 4 12-inch sections, and see if I can figure out some connection option to hold it together at each of those junctures, and that way I can have a takedown blow dart gun. Because if this did break down to separate pieces, hands down, this would be an easy winner for me, I think. But yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up as just a brief rundown for all these different items here. Next time we're going to test them out, and I'll show you just how effective each one is and how effective I am with each of these tools. Thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for the next exciting installment. You guys have a safe week and take care.